Hello everyone, Ethersong here, and today's video is a summary of Blue Protocol Communication Number 6 developer livestream, along with some of my thoughts about its contents. I have timestamps for each topic in this video, so feel free to jump to the areas you're interested in hearing about. I also did a full translation of the stream, which I will add a link to in the description. This developer stream consisted of 4 main topics: about the game releasing on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series XS in Japan, a word of thanks for network test applicants, introducing additional features, and about monetization in the game. To start out, they announced the game would be releasing on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series XS in Japan. In addition, they stated that while they will be releasing the game on consoles, they have no plans for a physical copy of the game. It will be download only. They also gave a look at the publishers for each of the regions. In Japan, Bandai Namco will be acting as the publisher and will be releasing the game early spring 2023. Cayenne Tech will be the publisher in Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Macau. In Korea, Smilegate will be the publisher, and finally Amazon Games will be acting as the publisher in North America, Europe, South America, Australia, and New Zealand, and will be aiming to release the game in the second half of 2023. Servers will also be different for each publisher. In regards to crossplay, they said it was something they would like to do but cannot give a definitive answer as of yet. Another thing they touched upon is how much influence overseas publishers have on the game. They noted how a lot of people online were voicing their concerns about Blue Protocol developers being pressured to make changes to the game by these publishers. In regards to this, they said that while they do take advice from publishers and partners, what they do with that advice is decided upon by the development staff in Japan. For things that make sense, they will add to the game, but for suggestions that don't match the Japanese mindset, they refuse to change. The developers said they want to make a game Japanese players will enjoy first and foremost. They believe this will in turn be the best game for players overseas as well. If they were to make a number of changes to accommodate the overseas market, the game would lose its uniqueness to those players. As such, the most important thing to them is keeping the Japanese feel to their game. Moving on, the next topic discussed was the network test. They were looking for 50,000 testers, and the number of applicants exceeded that. As such, a lottery will be held to determine who will be able to participate. They hope to announce the results by the end of the year, but it may be at the start of next year. Next, they moved on to the topic of introducing additional content in the game. The first thing they discussed was fishing. They revealed that there are fishing spots in the game where players can interact with to fish. They showed one such fishing spot in the main town Asterleeds. After interacting with the fishing spot, a fishing minigame begins. There is a gauge that appears when a fish bites. It shows the tension on the string and the distance of the fish. By aligning the rod with the fish, the tension will drop. When the tension drops, that's a chance to reel in the fish. The developers also noted multiple people can use the same fishing location. Next, they went on to explain how fishing relates to the game's cycle. In the past closed beta test survey, they had asked a question about lifestyle content. For lifestyle contents, the connection between them becomes quite important. In addition, developing the connections between all that type of content takes time. However, fishing is easy to release as a standalone feature. Continuing on, they plan to release content that connects to the fishing feature. As such, at release, fish will only be able to be sold, but more things will come that will build upon it in the future. Next, the developers showed some simple improvements they made to swimming. First, they added a swimming dash that allows one to swim faster. Also, they added the ability to jump while swimming. This goes to resolve some issues with swimming in the closed beta test where players would have to search for stairs to get out of the water. Continuing on, the developers once again explained the zones and channel system in the game. Areas in the game are divided into zones. Zones are areas of the map where no loading occurs. However, there are loading between zones. The max number of players that can be in each zone depends on the zone type. Once that limit is reached, an additional channel for the zone is created to hold more players. Here we can see the max number of players per channel for each zone type. In main towns like Astraleads, there can be up to 200 players per zone channel. The field area supports up to 30 players. Missions hold up to 6 players. Raid missions can have up to 30 players. And finally, solo missions like time attacks and score attacks only support 1 player. Next up, we were shown the camp system that has been added to the game. At these camps, players are able to light a bonfire. If they sit down there while the fire is lit, they start recovering hit points. Players can either sit down on the logs around the fire or on the ground using gestures. Near the camp areas, teleportation portals have also been placed. In the closed beta test, teleportation portals could be found in village areas in zones, but traveling from there to certain parts of the maps could be quite far. As such, these camp portals allow players more options when looking to travel to various locations around the map. Also, having teleportation portals near camps increases the chance for players to encounter other players. These camp areas are designed to be something of a gathering spot, and a place where players can relax. Most zones have these camp areas, so when entering a new zone, it can be a good idea to first search for the camp area and teleportation portal. It is important to keep in mind that teleportation portals must be activated once before they can be used. Continuing on, we are also shown that a number of gestures can now be used while sitting. There are of course limitations. For example, a player could not dance or jump while sitting. Next up, we were introduced to a new NPC called the Wandering Gourmet. He is an NPC that appears in various locations around the map. Talking to him will give a player a buff depending on his clothing color. There are no real demerits to talking to him, so if you're planning to spend time in the field area, it can be a good idea to talk to this character and get a buff. Next up, we were shown a new creature called a Nappo. A number of these are hidden in each zone. These were added as another incentive to exploration. Players can search for these creatures for achievements. Continuing on, we were shown the beauty salon feature in the game. In towns, players can talk to a certain NPC to change their character's appearance. Tickets are required to change one's appearance. There are normal course tickets and type change course tickets. Type change course tickets allow one to change their character's gender as well. For the most part, it can be thought of as a feature where players can redo character creation. However, one major difference is that the beauty salon offers new cosmetic options not available in normal character creation. For example, there are a number of hairstyles and additional options for applying colors to hair. Outside of hairstyles, we also saw new eye types and eyelashes. Beyond that, there are also a number of teeth options added, such as shark teeth or fangs. Moving forward, future updates also promise to bring more style options to the beauty salon. Another thing to note is that appearance changes made in the beauty salon can also be saved. The beauty salon requires tickets, but the tickets are consumed at the end. So even without a ticket, players can try out the beauty salon and save various appearances they enjoy. As for the tickets themselves, they are something that will be monetized. Overall, this beauty salon feature really looks to increase the options one has for customizing their character's appearance. When the game releases, the beauty salon is definitely something I would like to try out right away. Moving on, the developers next showed a small feature, but one that many players will be happy to see. That is the ability to interact with various animals in the world, such as dogs, cats, or E. E are these little round creatures you can find around town and other areas. Continuing on, we got a look at another customization feature, the coloring shop. Players can use dyes and mixers to change the color of clothing. The basic process is that first the player can choose a dye as a base color. After that, a mixer can be used to adjust the saturation and brightness of the color. This color mixer system in particular is something I was happy to see. Being able to adjust saturation and brightness of a color directly really opens up a variety of colors available when dyeing clothing. Next up, we were shown a new feature added to the photo mode. When taking pictures with players under certain conditions, such as being in a party, clones of these players are created when entering photo mode. Even if that other player were to leave to do something else, their clone remains in the photo mode, allowing you to take pictures with them. For example, here, Suzuki is doing something else, but a copy of his character still remains in Fukuzaki's photo mode. We also learned the photo mode itself will support up to 11 players, oneself included. The theater feature was introduced next. It is a way for players to rewatch cutscenes they have previously viewed in the game. A unique thing about this theater feature is that it will display your character's current appearance, so it is possible to return to past cutscenes with a new look. Moving on, we next learned about the new plug attachment feature. This is a replacement to the previous Echo Fusion system. These plugs act as enhancements that can be put into socket slots on weapons. When attaching them to a weapon, they are given an effectiveness level between 1 and 5 stars. They improve certain stats or skills. These are an option for players looking to min-max their character before doing difficult content. Plugs can be acquired through things like missions or the adventure board. They will not be monetized content. Next up, we got a closer look at Blue Protocol's guild-like feature called Teams. Players can only be in one team at a time. Teams have ranks which can be increased by team members doing content in the game. Raising a team rank allows more players to join the team. In its current state, a team chat is the main feature teams offer. There's no content planned specifically for teams at the game's release. However, for future updates, they are considering content designed for teams. Continuing on, developers shared more information about elemental effects and elemental bursts. In Blue Protocol, there are 6 elements and each has its own properties. By doing elemental damage to enemies, the effects of the element build up. This can be seen as a gauge below enemies' health. First, we learn about the effects of level 1 to 2 elemental buildup. Fire causes enemies to gradually lose life. Ice slows down enemy movement. Lightning occasionally prevents actions. Earth increases damage taken by the enemy. Light decreases damage dealt by the enemy. Darkness causes enemies to have a chance to miss. If an element builds up to level 3, an elemental burst occurs. When this happens, an elemental burst gauge also appears. This gauge has 5 levels. By attacking, this gauge levels up and increases the damage done by the burst finish. A burst finish happens automatically after a set amount of time. The effects of elemental burst finish vary depending on the element. Fire causes a large amount of damage. Ice causes damage and freezes the enemy in place. Lightning causes damage and paralysis. Earth causes damage and stops enemy movement. Light causes damage and gives players regeneration. Darkness causes damage and puts HP leak status condition on the enemy. The HP leak status condition allows players to drain health from the enemy with each attack. An important thing to note is that enemies can also trigger elemental burst on players as well. As such, if an enemy causes a darkness burst, it would also put HP leak on players and allow the enemy to drain health and heal. Another unique feature that the developers talked about is that if a player can't move because of an ice or earth burst, allies can remove the ice or stones from the player by attacking them and allowing the player to move freely again more quickly. Next up, we learned about the extra reward system. By default, missions in a game have a normal set of rewards. In addition, there are also things like first-time clear bonuses. Apart from that, certain missions also have extra rewards, Using an extra rewards ticket gives players additional rewards on mission completion. Players can get 3 extra reward tickets a day. Up to 10 of these tickets can be held at a time. These only act as additional rewards to missions, so there's no limit to the number of times you can do missions. Also, if you don't have any tickets, you can still receive the normal rewards from missions. These extra reward tickets are also monetized to an extent. Players can purchase them from the shop, but since these are powerful items, the developers put a limit on how many of these can be purchased. These extra rewards are a way for players with limited time to make the most of it. This system is not designed in a way where rewards can barely be gained without buying tickets. Continuing on, the developer showed us the Quick Party feature. This is a feature that automatically forms a party with other players who have the feature turned on. To turn it on, you can go to the Party menu and click Quick Party button. This is a feature that makes joining a party very simple. The reason this feature was added is because in Blue Protocol, there are only merits to being in a party. As long as you are within certain range of party members, you can share the number of enemies defeated for quests and the adventurer board, share drops, and build up the party chain, so it is quite advantageous to play the game in a party. In Blue Protocol, there are 4 main ways to form parties. The first is a direct invite. This can be done by interacting with another character, through an adventurer card, through the friends list, through the team member list, or through a character search. The next way of forming a party is through the matching system. This is a quick way to join parties for missions. It will find other players looking to do the same mission as you and put you in a party for that mission. However, when doing a mission with a party through this method, regular chat is disabled, and communication can only be done through set phrases and stamps. In addition, the party will be disbanded after the mission. Next up is the previously introduced Quick Party feature. It is a way to quickly form a party with other players in the area. It can be useful when in a field area and there are a lot of players around you doing similar activities. Finally, there is the Party Recruitment list. This is a kind of looking for group tool. It can be accessed by opening up the command menu and then going to Party and then Recruitment list. You can recruit other players for your party or join other players' groups. The developers next showed us a closer look at this recruitment list feature. Creating a new entry allows you to fill out a menu with information about the type of party you would like to form. To start, you can select what type of content you would be doing, such as quests, events, going to the field, or fighting named enemies. There are also tags you can check for the purpose of your party. These include gathering items, leveling, serious attempts, first-time attempts, free recruitment, and free talk. In addition, there are tags for the mood of the party. These include looking for help, looking to help, feel free to join, until we clear, open to first-timers and new players, refuse first-timers, multiple runs, for practice or scouting out the area. There are also limits you can put on who can join your party, such as anybody, friends, or teammates. By removing all checks, you can make a hidden recruitment only visible to people that know your recruitment ID. Apart from that, you can set what roles you would like for your party and a minimum battle score. Finally, you can also leave a comment in your recruitment post. Moving on, we next get a look at a new type of mission called the Unending Tower. These missions take place in towers with multiple floors. Each floor has an objective that must be completed before moving on. In addition, the tower itself has a time limit, meaning players must move quickly through the tower to complete it. In this stream, we were given a look at the Tower of Beginnings. This is a tower with 20 floors, and the developer showed us a look at the first 11 floors of the tower. Objectives for each floor can be things like defeating all the enemies or taking down specific enemies. Once the objective is complete, the teleporter to the next floor becomes active, and the party can move to the next floor by interacting with it. Every 5 floors, there's also a rest area for the party to heal back up. Overall, the Unending Tower looks like a fun addition to the game, and an easy system to expand upon for future content. Continuing on in this stream, we also got more information about the monetization system in Blue Protocol. The game will be free to play with monetized items. As we learned previously, there will be a season pass. This consists of a free tier and a paid tier. Apart from that, there is the Ragna store. This is a cash shop. Within this, there is also a gacha system. Yes, that is gacha with an S and not a C. Gacha will be mainly for clothing and mounts and will be updated monthly. I tried searching for the difference between gacha and gacha, and it seems like it's mostly a difference between who holds the trademarks to each name. Bandai holds the rights to the name gacha and sells toys inside of capsules called gashapon. As such, they most likely chose to use the name they hold the rights to, gacha, over gacha. In any case, the actual difference between gacha and gacha seems to be just in the name. Moving on, we next learned about the unique game currency called Rose Orbs, which can be purchased and used to buy gacha, items from the Rose Orb store, as well as the Season Pass. Developers noted that there are both free and paid Rose Orbs. Next, we got a look at merchandise categories in the game. There are 2 main groups of items, those for additional variations and appearance, and those to speed up progress. Variations in appearance include such things as clothing, weapon skins, the beauty parlor, dyes, accessories, underwear, gestures, and things to change characters' appearance. Clothing and accessories do not include stats and are only cosmetic. There are also things to add flavor to the game, such as stamps and consumable items like party poppers. Mounts decrease travel time and have different appearances, so they are placed between 2 groups. An important thing to note is that the mount's appearance will not affect its speed. The Season Pass has things like clothing items and consumables, so it is also placed between the 2 groups. Speed up progress items allow one to progress more quickly through certain aspects of the game. For example, there are the extra reward tickets for missions that were discussed earlier. There are also tickets for immediate completion of specific quests for the Season Pass. In addition, there are consumable items that can increase experience or Luno currency gain, or other healing items. There are also items that increase the chance for great success when crafting. When an item is crafted with great success, it can have a higher percent for special effects and a larger number of sockets for plugs. Special effects can include things like higher percentage of damage against certain types of enemies. There are also items that allow for one to remove and reuse plugs that have already been attached to weapons. Other monetized features include more character slots and name changes. Every player is given 2 character slots to start, and through purchases, up to 10 slots can be unlocked. Character name changes have an interval before they can be performed again. As such, it would not be possible to change a character's name daily. As it was discussed in the past, there will be no monetization for bags and storage. Also, another thing the developers noted is that the categories shown will not only be monetized. A number of things such as clothing, accessories, mounts, stamps, beauty parlor tickets, and gacha tickets will be available through missions and quests as well. For example, by doing raids, a currency called GC can be acquired and used to purchase accessories, clothing, and mounts. Continuing on, we learned more information about the Season Pass. One season lasts for around 50 to 60 days. By completing specific quests for the Season Pass, season points can be acquired. Season points are used to rank up the Season Pass. After acquiring a certain season rank, items can be acquired from the season store by trading in season points. The max rank is 100. The free Season Pass only has rewards up to rank 60. The paid Season Pass has the rewards all the way to max rank. There are two types of paid plans. The Advanced Pass unlocks the paid tier of the Season Pass. The Royal Pass unlocks the paid tier of the Season Pass and gives 25 ranks immediately. You can choose between the two and purchase one. With the paid plans, types of specific quests for season points are increased. There is no difference between the two paid plans for these quests. The developers noted that there will be no content like maps, dungeons, or missions locked behind the paid plan of the Season Pass. Finally, the developers said that they are not ready to release information about the specific costs of things in the store yet. This information will be announced at a later date before release. At the end of the stream, the developers announced that they plan to have their next stream sometime after the network test. In that stream, they are planning to give a roadmap for future updates in the game and also additional information they want to talk about before the game's release. When a specific date is decided, they will announce it on their Twitter account. And that brings me to the end of this stream summary. The developers once again had a lot of information to share. The additional features were all exciting. The camp areas look to be a nice system that promotes casual interaction. I can see camps acting as a place where players can gather and chat while taking a break from questing and gathering items in the fields or while waiting for a specific event to occur. Seeing the beauty salon and coloring shop was also great. The game really looks to be offering lots of customization options for our characters. I can't wait to try out the beauty salon myself when the game launches. And then there was the Unending Tower. This is a mission type we hadn't seen so far, but it looks to be a fun time trial-like party mission. While we had only seen one tower, I'm sure there will be a variety of more difficult towers coming to the game that will offer even more challenges. But apart from these additional features, I think the biggest draw of this stream was the information about the monetization system in the game. It was nice to learn more concretely about how the game will be monetized. Overall, I thought the monetization looked to be quite fair and not very overbearing. Cosmetic options in particular are something I will be happy to purchase to help support the game and customize my character. However, there were two aspects of the monetization that left me a little worried. The first was gacha, this game's gacha or loot box mechanic. I don't think there are many people who are happy to hear about a game having gacha. I personally see gacha and loot boxes as predatory monetization that feeds on people's gambling addiction. While the gacha in this game is only cosmetic, it still has me worried. Just selling the items directly would be a lot more consumer friendly. But all we know currently is that there will be some kind of gacha system. We don't know how it will be implemented or if there will be other methods to get the items outside of random chance. While I am not looking forward to it being in the game, I will hold my final judgment for it until we know all the details about it. The other item that left me potentially worried was the crafting great success chance increased item. From what it looks currently, players will be crafting the same item multiple times, hoping to get the max number of sockets and best special effects on it. To do this, great crafting success is critical. If items to boost this chance are too powerful, it could lead players to feel like they are wasting resources crafting weapons without it. If certain weapons require rare resources, this will be even more the case. Once again, we don't have all the details, so I can't say anything definitively yet, but this is another aspect of monetization I am keeping my eye on. If I were to take it one step further, I think the game would be even better without pay to speed up progress category of items, but perhaps they are needed for the game to make sufficient profit. However, the most worrisome item, the extra reward tickets, have a limit on how much can be bought, which gives me hope that the developers are doing their best to monetize the game while creating the best experience possible for its players. And that brings me to the end of this video. What did everyone think of the contents of this stream? Is there anything in particular that stood out to you? What did you think about the monetization system? I look forward to reading everyone's thoughts in the comments. As for future videos, I myself am hoping to participate in the network test. If I get in, look forward to videos and streams of that next month. Anyway, I hope everyone enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!